It is the year of our Lord 797. The date is August 15th. The Eastern Roman Empire stands on the edge of upheaval. In Constantinople, a coup is unfolding. But our story lies far from that great place, far from the marble avenues of civilization. And what happens here will cast a long shadow. We turn now to the frontier, to the fort of Develtus. This is Days of Darkness, a Vampire the Dark Ages story. So we're going to go ahead and do some introductions of our lovely cast, and then we're going to dive right into the game. We're going to start with Emalynde.
Hi, my name's Emalynde. I go by Emma. I am an avid TTRPG player, a vampire enjoyer, an elf lover, and I really love to play my TTRPG characters in video games. Today, I am playing Sophia, who is a Toreador in this setting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zack, and I also have been playing a lot of tabletop RPGs. You've probably seen me before on this channel. Today, however, I'll be playing the Holy Man, or perhaps once Holy Man. It's hard to tell with vampires. Theodorus, a priest, an old man who perhaps is having a struggle of faith.
Hi all, I'm Ree, also known as SorcerieArts. I play TTRPGs on several channels, including Mortal Rolls, Crit Crafters, here on Tickingtimebob's wonderful channel, and occasionally with the Cats Meow as well. Occasionally I draw and do art on my own channel. Art is sometimes featured in some of the channels that I play TTRPGs on, and I'm very excited. Today I will be playing 80. She is, well, you'll learn about her soon.
Hello, my name is Mark, aka the Cat's Meow. You can find me over at the Cat's Meow show, where I run Vampire the Masquerade and a bunch of other World of Darkness adjacent things. You can also find me here on Tickingtimebob Gaming, where I am part of the Sunday Pendragon crew. So join us tomorrow for that. Until then, I will be here playing Clovis, the Nosferatu. I am excited.
You know, I realized I made like a tongue tie kind of name, but once I got tickling Time Bob like twice or three times, I'm like, oof, I'm gonna have to change that. Like that sets a totally different vibe for the name, I think.
It's true.
So yeah,
Such a absolutely not your vibe either.
not even a little bit. We're going to start tonight with Theodorus. We see the marshlands that surround this fort at the border of Bulgar and the Eastern Roman Empire. Why don't you describe to us what we see? Is Theodorus by himself? What does he look like as he reaches the place at night?
Theodorus probably arrives with a small caravan, perhaps of traders. He travels the road quite often. Long journeys and harsh sun has made this lean old man look even older. His clothing shows that he is clergy, but not wealthy or ceremonially adorned in any way. His tunic is just undyed wool, coarse but sturdy and dotted with patchwork, as if he has to sew the many wounds to his clothes himself. Dust clings to him from the road, and he wears a heavy hooded cloak and worn leather sandals. He has a shaved head. However, he has a full beard. It is completely gray with just hints of the old brown he used to have. On his back is a large satchel and supplies, still carrying supplies even with the caravan. Bits and bobs clanking as he walks. His eyes are a deep brown, soft and somehow still reflecting an inner warmth despite his dark state. Worry lines are etched onto his skin, and there's a wooden cross that hangs from his neck. Finally, as he's stepping through, he holds on to a worn walking staff, grips tight onto it with a calloused 4-fingered hand.
Now, we know that Theodorus is here not entirely by chance. He's heard of a sister of the faith here, the domain holder of Develtus. Her mortal visage is that of Sister Macrina, but she is better known as Olivia of Thessalonica. As you make your way into Develtus, you see a pretty Spartan and not too luxurious of a place. Mundane in appearance. There's nothing that's been done to really keep it looking fresh. You can tell there's a lot of movement here as of late, probably increase in garrison, given all the news of conflict at the border here. You see, of course, amongst the few buildings that are here and the villas that are present in the fort ahead, you see the chapel of St. Michael.
Theodore leans onto his staff. He's traveled a long road to get here and to seek out counsel. As he leans onto the staff, perhaps he sees a few people passing by, new faces, and sadly, new blood. He clenches harder onto the staff, closing his eyes and holding onto the cross that he wears with his other hand. The hand that's on the staff, that 4-fingered thing, the skin, or rather the veins underneath, start to writhe as he struggles. But it calms, and so does he. He'll open his eyes and take a few more steps.
Where to?
He's first going to make sure his traveling companions settle into the right place, or at least guide them, because they can take care of themselves, and he doesn't want to waste any time in finding Olivia or Sister Macrina, or which was the public facing one, was Macrina?
Yes, correct. Her nun visage, her nun alias. Yeah.
Right. So first things is to get his companions settled. Second is to seek out this nun.
You see to your traveling companions, they make their way to the inn and tavern. There may very well be a shortage. It'll be something to be sorted out. It'll probably take a bit longer for them, given the number and given the amount of overflow already from the garrison that's holding this place right now. But we can blow past that because that's not super interesting. We'll move instead to the church, or the chapel rather. As you enter, do you look the part of a man of faith?
He may look like a rather weathered monk, but barely. He looks more traveler than priest or monk. The only thing clearly showing is the wooden cross that he wears prominently across his chest.
I think wearing a prominent wooden cross would mean that the guards would simply step aside from you. There's nothing that's particularly threatening, let's say, to Theodorus's appearance, is there?
No, not right now.
Yeah.
He is an old man.
Yes.
He walks, he is like his bones hurt with every step, but he has stepped and taken many of them.
Excellent. You are led into the chapel grounds, and you make your way into the chapel. And it's here that, as you enter, a figure enters not far behind you. Turning to see her, she is garbed in the clothes of a sister of the faith. Her skin is very pale, and she's very gaunt as she wanders in beside you.
Theodorus will turn ahead, but not turn entirely towards her. And he'll say, "It's been a long road."
Seems so. Where do you hail from, friend?
There's a small sad smile beneath the gray beard. Seems a whole life ago now, but in a monastery far away. Too far away from this war-torn land.
When you say a very long time ago, you can see her spend quite a bit of time eyeing you, as if she's kind of eyeing through you a bit. And then there's a confirmed nod. She looks around, and there is a guard kind of here. You kind of observe that it's a little strange. He's like at the edge of the door to the chapel. She nods to him, and he shuts the door. So it's just the two of you.
Theodorus will, being a man from the road and has probably faced many dangerous situations, his eyes kind of flit towards the guard. Not that an old man could do anything to fight against such things, but he'll turn towards the woman fully now and bow his head.
Welcome to my domain, K-Knight.
Sister Macrina, I assume.
Olivia is fine when we're alone.
He bows his head again. I thank you greatly for meeting with me, for allowing me to be here.
I can see in your eyes that you're searching for something.
I am, and I have been for quite a long time. I am struggling with something that our kind struggle with. Theodorus's face, he's already struggling with the words, like him admitting that he is of this world is painful for him. And he looks down towards the ground. There are others older than me, clearly, and I seek guidance on how to live like this. The creature that is inside.
You speak of the beast.
The beast. I have seen beasts before, rabid on the road. Many paths I've come across them, but this, I think it's more than a beast. A devil.
She finds those words curious. She tilts her head to the side. How long did you spend with your sire? The one who made you?
There's almost a crack of lightning of pain and hate, but Theodorus is a holy man, and he keeps his composure, calm, quickly. I have heard of this term, sire. I do not have a sire. I was attacked when I was aiding the wounded, a great battle. Next, I found myself in this state, though I was quite lost to whatever this is, whatever this thing inside me is. And the Lord, I prayed. And I prayed so much that God does not answer back any longer.
You hold on to your faith, then. It is not simply a mask.
No, my faith in the Lord and Jesus Christ is still full, despite what has happened. But no matter how many words I say in prayer, this thing inside of me still wants to rip free. If God tests me in this way, I will pass. But I still need help. There have been times where I've lost control. It can't happen again.
There's a look of curiosity that forms on her face. You're welcome here. You have my hospitality. Might I ask your name?
Theodorus pauses for a second, as if sometimes it's hard to remember his own name. It's almost like it's a name of a different person. I am Theodorus, Father Theodorus to some, but I don't think they care any longer.
Interesting. A priest. Father Theodorus, you said?
He nods.
Come with me to the back. I think there's something you would like to see.
Theodorus will nod and follow along, walking with his staff.
She moves very slow, like there's no reason to ever be in a hurry for anything. She wanders back behind the altar into the storage rooms of this chapel. This is not a full-on church. This is, a very limited space thing. You walk by a whole bunch of storage, and she wanders to a shelf. She pulls out a box that fits. It's a bit big for her hands, but it's not much bigger than her hands, if that makes sense. And she moves to hand it to you.
Theodorus will lean his walking staff up against something and gently take the box in his calloused hands.
What do we observe from the camera's perspective as Theodorus's hands reach out to take it? Is there anything missing?
I mean, there is, when he reaches out his hands, his one hand is missing, his right hand is missing its index finger. And though he's gotten used to missing this vital finger, it's still, when holding something and balancing it, it throws it off a little bit, and perhaps the box dips just slightly off to that side.
She nods. A Canaanite by the name of Anna passed through here last year. She asked one favor, a favor that she said she would return in full, that I hold this box for Father Theodorus.
Theodorus's bushy eyebrow raises. He looks more than wary. And this name doesn't ring any bells to him, does it, Bob?
Not one bit.
And that scares him more. He brings the box closer to his chest. May I open it then? I am not sure. I'm not sure what to expect.
It is yours, sir, to have and do what you will with it. There are other Canaanites here, visiting. If you'd like, I will gather them. It is rare we have use for Elysium.
Elysium, what a lovely term. He chuckles, but there's no mirth. If I could ask, before, this Anna, who is she?
It is rare that guests here do not share more about their histories. I am an elder, after all. She chose not to. She was beautiful.
Theodorus nods. I understand. It's this, all of this. I don't understand much, but I do understand that there are many secrets. I hope this uncovers one, however. And he will open the box here.
I think we see her start to move away as you unlatch the box and you open it. Inside, you see a small piece of parchment. It's well cut. It doesn't look torn or anything. And something beneath it that it shapes over. On the parchment, you see a location. It says Therme. And I'll get you the write-up for that soon.
Okay.
Or the letters for that soon. Indeed. And then there's something underneath it.
And Theodorus, quite rare in this time and age, he can indeed read and write. One of the many uses of the priesthood in this time period. He will slowly, warily and gently move the paper aside to see what object is in here.
You find your missing index finger preserved.
There's a shadow that falls over Theodorus's face. He He knows who took this finger, or at least he believes he does. He whispers a prayer to the Lord above, and he will gently pick up the finger with the hand missing its finger, its fullness.
I think at that point, we shift away. We follow 80 now as she walks on an errand on behalf of her sire to the trading post. You are to pick up something on behalf of Callias. He gave you orders. It is a cartographer that you're to speak with. And as we see 80 walking, we will speak a bit about the one who observes from the shadows, Clovis. But before that, we'll start with 80.
She's a young woman, probably not much older than her early 20s, walking along. There's a quite ethereal sort of quality about her and the way she walks. She's almost always, and now would be no exception, humming something quietly under her breath. And the most striking feature is that if she were to look upon you, her eyes almost, at first you might think blue, but on a closer look, they are a very striking violet color. She kind of walks along, humming to herself towards the trading post. It's quite lovely to have some fresh air, a reason to be out and about, even if it is Develtus, which is, well, I suppose you can find beauty in everything.
Indeed, if you squint and stand on your head. Nevertheless, you see the cartographer ahead. You visited him before when Callias originally made the order. You stood at a distance as he went forward and had his business. There were 3 of you at the time, of course.
She'll go over to him, to the cartographer, and kind of wave. Would she know his name?
She does not.
Hello there. It's a lovely evening, is it not?
He is certainly a man who has experienced life, let's say. His nose is very large from excessive drinking. He has some boils on his face. His work is likely beautiful, but he is very much not. He narrows his eyes and he says, "What is it then? I have a busy day. Are you here to make an order?"
I'm here to pick one up from my master, the name of Callias.
You see like a look of, maybe it's respect, maybe, it's hard to say, but it's a drastic distinguishing difference from the way he treated you. And he says, "Yes, I just finished." And then he takes a map that's bound in twine, so it's rolled, and he presents it to you.
Now, would I have been given payment, or should I assume that this has already been paid for?
Yes, indeed, you were given coin.
All right. She'll take out the deck of coin that she's been given and hand it to him as he hands her the map. It should all be there. Is there anything you would like me to convey to him?
If there's anything that's missing, anything that he needs highlighted, I'd be happy to draw his attention to it. This is, well, we had to look at multiple maps to piece this together, but it should do the trick.
I'm sure he speaks very highly of your talents, and I will be glad to bring it to him. Thank you.
And perhaps don't tell him that I was rude to his servant. I apologize. I won't do that again.
Of course. She'll turn, taking the scroll in her arms, and kind of gaze around assuming that the market is a little bit quieter at this hour than it might be, say, in the middle of the day. But she'll nonetheless take the opportunity to kind of stroll around to see if anything catches her eye.
You turn to look about the area. Do you have the awareness skill or aspects?
I do have the awareness skill. And yes.
Give me a perception awareness test.
All right.
At the same time, while you're making that roll, we're going to cut over to Clovis. Now, Clovis, I did want to check in with you, Mark, before we make any assumptions. Yes, we see the Nosferatu sigil, but the question is he the type to spend a lot of time in Obfuscate? Or is he the type to simply be out and visible?
Out and proud? No, he'd probably spend a lot of time hidden from the eyes of mortals, mostly due to his kind of unpleasant general appearance. As we focus in on Clovis, he is closer to a suit of armor than a man. This kind of strange, almost misshapen, scaled armor. There's bits that almost look as if there's extra padding underneath, like one of his shoulder and one of his legs and one of his arms. But to those who are close to him, there is a prevailing smell of rot. This kind of putrescentness that irradiates off of him. His head is covered by what is a large helm and large chains, neck protection, as well as what looks to be a Byzantine mask that has been haphazardly placed between the top of the helm and the part of the neck protection that comes up to hide his grotesque features. To any prying eyes, perhaps he looks more like a mercenary who is down on his luck. But otherwise, he does his best to obscure himself from the perceptions of those around him.
We see from your perspective, looking upon the transaction here with 80 and the cartographer, you don't have a lot of information on her, but she's part of this trio. You recognize the sire from your time in Constantinople and another, but she doesn't look the part. She looks common born, perhaps. Certainly doesn't, you don't recall her when you were in Constantinople. You know that the two are claimed to be chowder of Callias. But there's something that's just kind of weird about the whole thing. Why are there three of them? You know, what are they up to? Why are they here in Develtus? It's enough to you know, tick the curiosity of a Nosferatu, to say the least. 80, how is your roll?
Standard difficulty, I'm assuming?
You bet. 6 is fine.
Yeah, so 1 success.
You glance over towards the north gate where the marshes are, and for half a second, you swear you see the captain. Now, you haven't seen him since he visited you last in prison.
I think she would start moving in that direction.
You start to move in that direction. And you arrive there, and it's just empty. But you can feel the hairs on the back of your neck standing up. There's something strange here going on here. And how close is Clovis? Does Clovis wander in following 80?
I think he does, but he does so at a distance. He does, after all, know of her sire's blood, and thus what her blood is most likely to be, and they are known for noticing things that want to be unnoticed. So he keeps his distance.
You see her just kind of like, well, you can describe it. 80, what happens when you reach this sort of north gate and there's no sign of the captain anywhere?
She she's walking there with like a great sense of purpose, like almost quickly, like she's walking towards something and then she arrives and she just stops and kind of looks around. If you had like when you throw something into the woods and like a dog chases after it and then like it loses it, like that's the vibe. So she just stops and kind of deflates a bit and takes a step back. Is anyone there? Can anyone hear me?
I think it would take Clovis a few moments, worrying that he may have been spotted spying. But then he would step forward. As he does, it's almost immediate, the sound of rattling metal.
Yeah. She'll turn rapidly as soon as, because that is definitely not the direction in which she was looking, but now someone is stepping out from. She turns half expecting to see the captain, but instead sees a suit of armor that vaguely rings familiar, but is definitely not the captain. She'll take a step back. Can I help you?
The Byzantine face mask turns to face you. Almost a gurgling-like voice erupting from behind it. Are you all right?
I'm quite all right, yes. Are you all right?
The face mask turns for a moment, as if pondering the question. No. That is not unusual.
Are you looking for something?
No. Just wondering.
You did not, by chance, see a man come this way, did you?
I did not know.
Very well. Do I know you? That must sound strange.
No. Very few know me.
And I have something I would like to activate.
Gotcha.
You can probably guess what it is.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would like to use a certain power.
Yep.
To sense whether this is. I think. Let's see.
Go ahead and make the roll. You don't have to speak to it.
There is no roll.
Okay.
Um.
Now, the question is maybe for Mark, is this Clovis being unaware or Clovis obscuring the truth?
Obscuring the truth.
I think as soon as you say that, her already kind of strange colored eyes like pulsate with like a glow. All right, well, I hope that you find what you're looking for here. I will be going now unless there is something else you need.
You are in contact with the courts of Olivia. Yes.
Nod.
You see
You
her
are-
next. Give her my regards.
Whose regards should I give?
The paladin.
She will know by that name.
Addie begins to turn to walk off.
And she's left standing there, puzzled for a moment. And she'll turn towards home or the place that she is currently residing in.
Understood. We cut scenes at that point to a Roman villa inside of the outer walls. It's one of the larger residences here. And we see two figures inside. We see a man with curly Greek locks and an almost perfect face. Still a sign of youth to him, though his eyes would suggest otherwise. We see him writing with ink and quill. There's a look of focus on him, and we cut over at that point to Emalynde.
Sophia is strikingly more fair for many of the denizens of Develtus. She even has a smattering of freckles that dot the expanse of her cheeks and nose, a touch at her shoulders, and her hair is this spun, sunlit shade of strawberry and gold. So she seems to be in good company with this similarly strikingly handsome man. But she stands by as he works, quiet, demure, her hands folded in front of her, as if on standby almost. She makes no sound, no means to disturb him.
He glances up, sort of almost distracted. This is very uncharacteristic for him. He's not known to be a man with stress, but there is some sense of stress and urgency as he writes. He looks up and he says, "My jewel, did I send AD to retrieve the map?"
Yes, you did. She glances out. I'm assuming they have some sort of window, or if it's necessary for her to go all the way to the door, she will do so to check, perhaps, where the moon sits in the sky to calculate the time since 80 departed. I hope she shouldn't be that much longer. I can go and check. Maybe along the road if you'd like.
No, it's probably best we have a difficult conversation. I've written this request to an old ally of mine. I mean for us to go to Venice. But along the way, we will pass through Zara. I think it's too risky for two fledglings and myself. I believe, after some counsel, whatever is ailing me here, these voices, this pain, once I'm out of here, will be gone. And I will not need her music. Don't mean for her to know until we've reached our destination.
You would have me leave her somewhere.
He stands. He likes to control these situations, unfortunately. He reaches out, putting a hand on her shoulder. She will find a future, the surrogate sire.
Are we to arrange such a person for her?
He reaches to the desk and holds a piece of parchment up. I will dispatch a rider tomorrow. We will hear news. Sophia, you're in no position to raise her.
I understand. She puts her hand on top of his as it rests on her shoulder.
I think at that point, it would be entertaining to have 80 arrive. Shout out to Lollygaggers here. Hold on, I'll do that. I don't have my mods. Welcome in, Raiders. 80, you're not sure exactly. I imagine. I know for Callius, he's just off his game a little bit. I think he definitely gives off the vibe like good thing we stopped a conversation right before you entered.
She walks in and I think she is a little bit in her own head as she walks in, but I think as soon as she walks in, and particularly as soon as she sees Sophia, she will kind of do a slight bow in acknowledgement to both of them, and I have returned with the map requested.
Very good. Very good. He'll step forward and take it. A smile forms on his face. You've done well.
Thank you for saying so.
Of course. I speak only the truth of things. You probably know, given what we just established in the previous scene, that is not true. Yeah.
Yeah. Her eyes pulsed again.
Is that visible?
Yes.
How many times do you think she's done it in front of Sophia, if you just had to estimate generally?
How often does Sophia lie?
I don't think she lies intentionally. Perhaps she passes on information that is not true, but she believes it to be
So then-
true. Does that make sense?
Yes. So in that case, she would probably mostly only see it happen around Callius.
Good, great.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
So Sophia does blink somewhat, and she'll glance at Callius for any sort of reaction, but does defer to his reaction.
I think he hasn't really sourced out any sort of like for why. He's probably, doesn't spend a lot of time thinking about his own lies. Yeah. I don't see that happening. So he probably doesn't put two and two together. He thinks it's yet another thing that's just strange about it.
Is there anything I can do for either of you?
At that point, there's a knock on the door, and you see a soldier kind of step to the door. Sister Macrina requests your presence.
Very well, we'll arrive as soon as we are able to.
With that, he adds, at Elysium.
Sophie has a bit of a puzzled look on her face, as if this is not been necessarily squared away in Kindred 101 for her. But she simply bobs her head in response. That flash of sentiment is very short-lived. And she will absolutely wait until the soldier leaves to ask about this later.
AD, meanwhile, she's just kind of almost muttering to herself something about of the afterlife. Just
With
thinking
that-
of the Elysium of the gods, but
That's fair. There is a step away at that point from the guard, having distributed the message. I'm going to kind of touch base with Mark here and just ask how Clovis might be contacted. Is Olivia aware that you're either staying or squatting here?
I would say Olivia is aware, because the one thing Clovis doesn't want to do is break the tradition so someone can come and destroy him. So he plays by the rules, but he's not exactly social. He can certainly be found in locations, possibly even tracked down if she has any other Nosferatu in her employ.
I don't think she does. But I would like... Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
I was saying, in that case, it probably makes sense if he is found in the ragtag haven that he is using, which is basically an old hovel that's been abandoned.
Maybe we'll say that old hovel, as you arrive back there after the situation of 80, you see a guard exiting it. Very nonchalant.
He waits for the guard to leave, and then heads inside.
You see that a piece of parchment's been left for you. A letter bound by a seal. The seal is
Opening
that
it
of...
Okay.
You see the seal of Clan Cappadocian.
He would open it up. He can, in fact, read. He is literate.
You too receive the invitation to Elysium.
We see, for a moment as he removes the mask, but we don't quite see his face. We just kind of get a view of him from behind as he just grumbles with a slight gargle to his voice. Seems I must go once more. Placing the faceplate and disappearing.
We move forward to the villa where Elysium is placed. This is often a secondary residence for a noble that never seems to show. Nice clean cover for an empty, big locale. As the group begins to gather, we're going to say that Olivia and Theodorus are first, for obvious reasons, and we will kind of go from there. So I think probably what makes sense is the trio arriving. Olivia is quick to introduce Theodorus. This is Theodorus, and she looks to you perhaps and just gives a nod like she's decided to say something additional. She corrects herself to Father Theodorus.
And Theodorus is, his eyes are kind of on one of the three, and that's 80, almost questioning what he's seeing. But the spell doesn't last too long. He gives a long sigh and bows his head, both to the three who just arrived and to Olivia.
80 will kind of do the same, but she's kind of staring at him. She'll kind of gently just tap on Sophia's hand beside her and just kind of give her a look. And in a moment, if there seems to be like a moment where others are speaking that would give her some sort of cover, she would just whisper to Sophia, Sophia, I know that man, I think.
Sophia will also have nodded in greeting when Theodorus stared, but as other individuals carry on a conversation, and she and 80 are engaged in a very discreet one, Sophia does check to ensure that at least Callius is occupied before shifting her face slightly over, leaning her form slightly over. What do you mean?
I know that man. I met him along the road here. He taught me some things about the healing arts. He's a good man.
You can almost feel the slight tension that had formed in Sophia along her shoulders relax. And she nods.
I think there is something strange happening here tonight. I feel as though there are ghosts of the past converging. I don't know what it means, but if there is anything you need of me, I am here.
When 80 mentions ghosts, Sophia's been trying to keep at least her body language somewhat attenuated to the general conversation at large. So it's not too impolite. Just turn away and have this side conversation. So this is the only point when she mentions ghosts that her face does fully turn. She blinks several times. You can almost watch the unspoken confusion, questioning, then realization that things have been fairly odd the last few months. The existence of ghosts might not be the strangest thing she's encountered so far. And so there's this validation to this glance she shares with 80, trusting her, believing her, and she gives a small nod in confidence in this quiet conversation that they share. And she does reach over, and with the hand that's closest to her, also kind of pats very gently on the back of her hand before averting her attention and body language back in the hopes that she has not missed anything.
We'll say that while that was happening, Callius had sort of stepped forward, as he does, right to Theodorus. He doesn't look like the intimidating sort, at least not from a, physical presence. He doesn't look like he's trying to start anything. But he just looked rather curious at Theodorus, and he says, Father. And he looks right to the center of Theodorus's forehead and sort of just lingers there for a moment. And It's like he's looking to guess at the lineage of Theodorus.
Theodorus will nod, chewing on something, his beard bobbing a little bit as he thinks of a response. A title from older days, but it is still mine.
I see. You are from which of the clans, Theodorus? I shouldn't be so rude, but I apologize. I am Callias of Constantinople, and these are my children, Sophia and Adi.
Theodorus nods to Meech, and the eyes still linger a bit longer at 80. He turns back. Clan, which of these families? The term of clan and family, it tastes bad in Theodorus's mouth. To be quite honest, I'm not sure.
An orphan, then, he says, a slight frown on his face. And I think Olivia will speak up at that point and say, for the time being, perhaps there'll be further opportunities soon, Father Theodorus, to discover your lineage. I want to interrupt that awkwardly, maybe with Clovis's arrival or his...
The sound of jangling metal fill the room as the menacing, putrescent figure steps forward. He looks to all those in the room before settling on Olivia. There is a slight shift and a creaking of metal as he bows his head.
The wear itself, the idea of this mask and armor, is not altogether abnormal for Constantinople. Some of the guards wear it, but not as haunting as the one Clovis wears. There's something just all around disturbing about it. With that, Olivia will turn and say, I'd hoped you were still here. Paladin?
I have come as requested.
Good. With the arrival of Theodorus, I wanted to make sure that all were aware of one another. I think Canine community is important. However, Develtus population is far too small for this many. And so I would kindly request that by the end of the month, we have at least one less Canite present. She kind of looks around at the group.
Theodorus will kind of tap his staff on the hard stone floor. He leans on it quite heavily. I didn't mean to be a bother. I can easily pass through after I seek the guidance I am looking for.
Olivia nods. You have no trouble, Theodorus. It is simply a matter of logistics. With that, Callias will speak up, and he says, Olivia, might the two of us speak in private? She nods, and for sake of ease and for some opportunity for the players to roleplay with one another, Olivia and Callias depart into another portion of the villa.
Sophia watches Callias leave until he is out of sight. She has the air about her that she's rather used to not necessarily being invisible, per se, but not being a guest at such an event either. She remains in very close proximity to Adi, their shoulders almost touching. And she doesn't necessarily make ready eye contact with either.
And I would say for Adi's part, as Clovis enters, she kind of, I think, instinctively just like presses slightly closer to Sophia.
They're just sandwiched.
Yeah. But I think as soon as Callias leaves, she will return her gaze to Father Theodorus. It is It is good to see you, Father.
Theodorus has the saddest brown eyes at this point,
Oh.
and he shakes his head. I am so sorry, dear child. What has happened to you?
The creaking tin man steps forward. Almost overpowering the conversation as he steps to face Theodorus. This iron mask, which at first glance looks to be screaming, but under quick analysis is crying.
You are new.
I am, Sir Knight. And Theodorus leans more onto his staff, but he doesn't back away or anything. He, however, does sniff very, very visibly. He he has very honed senses, and it nearly knocks him out, but he tries to keep composure. I am new, and I don't quite understand many things, including that well-made mask and that well-made smell.
You're gonna have to make a composure roll for that.
The figure doesn't seem to move. Whether or not there is movement beneath the mask is a different question. He simply grumbles with something between a grumble and a gurgle.
Yes, well, some of us wear our sins upon our skin, but such is the curse of the Canaanite.
Any hint of jabbing or joking, there was some on the old man's face, but it melts at the talk of the curse. And he nods gravely. Yes, I am learning more and more of our condition. I have much to learn, and we are indeed cursed.
Some more than others. The face turns to the two Toreador.
They're just like smashed up against each other.
Yeah, I think though as soon as he kind of turns toward them, and I think 80 will actually almost a little bit like protectively step in front of Sophia. Well, we are all in the same boat, so to speak. Perhaps we can all get along. It would be in all of our best interests, don't you think?
We shall see.
She'll kind of study Clovis again. She keeps kind of coming back to him with this feeling of like, I definitely know you, and you know me, and I know you know me, and you're not saying it. I know that for a fact. Where have you all, where have you traveled from? Paladin.
Constantinople. Though originally the land of the Franks.
And father, did you find what you were looking for? Your friend?
No. Oh. I want to roll, so I want to make a roll.
What would you like to roll?
I would like to roll probably a low difficulty because it is just talking about it. Self-control.
Oh yeah, this can't go
Because-
wrong.
This topic is not a good one for him
Yeah.
any longer.
He immediately frenzies. Kills everyone in the room.
Good thing
Let's
we
do
brought our
it.
second characters, right?
Right? Let's do a difficulty 5.
All right. So I have 4 dice for this.
Oh wait, hold on. I didn't factor that in because dice pools are inherently low with the virtues. Let's go ahead and make it a difficulty 4 then. And the one house rule we use here is we do not have ones take away successes because it's stupid. But if you roll, yeah.
Thank you. Thank the Lord above, because I did roll a 1. And okay, so difficulty 4.
Yes, indeed. So the one factor with that, just to kind of finish off the house rule, is ones won't take away successes, but if you get no successes and a 1, it's still a botch.
Right. Okay. So I did get 2 successes. Theodorus, it takes him for a second to remember the conversation they had a long time ago, what it pertained to, but it does seem to hit all at once. He kind of becomes rigid. The whites of his knuckle around the staff he leans on seems to brace as he grips hard. The visible skin, perhaps just on his hands and his forearms, seems to undulate a little bit. It shakes in a way that's unnatural, and Theodorus clamps down onto the staff harder. He closes his eyes for a second, nodding, taking control back. And then the nod turns into a shake of the head. I did not make it in time, dear child, to my friend.
I'm sorry to hear that, truly, I am.
I am too.
In that case, what has brought you here to Develtus?
I assume that, seeing as we are all similarly accursed with this creature inside of us, beneath our souls, that you know of what I speak. I have heard many terms for it, but I believe it the devil within. It claws.
Rumbles out from the armor.
Yes, the beast, this creature. It claws at me. And I now seek guidance on how to continue and walk the path of Christ while keeping it at bay.
Is there no way to rid yourself of it?
I'm not sure. I believe that with enough faith and time, anything is possible, but I am not sure how much time I have until it becomes too strong.
Forgive my ignorance, Father, but is that not perhaps something that an exorcism might deal with?
Theodorus nods. He looks to the ground and nods. There's a smile beneath his large beard. I have seen a few fellow clergymen, few nuns. None have been successful.
These things happen for better, for we are all the way we are now, but we are still ourselves if we wish to be.
We there is no other choice.
But what we choose to do with that, how we choose to move forward with who we are and with what is inside us, there are always very many choices. And she'll kind of, her gaze lands on Clovis as she says that. We can do much with what we are given, I believe.
Sophia bobs her head in agreement.
I think at that point, Olivia and Callius turn to the room. Olivia will speak first. It seems that our 3 from Clan Toreador will be departing in the next month. Theodorus, you're welcome to stay as long as you need to.
AD looks visibly surprised and kind of looks to Sophia.
Sophia once more kind of gives her a small aside and smiles, the curvature of her lips reassuring, and she again kind of reaches over and pats at the top of her hand. It's not dismissive, but it's probably also not difficult to see that she is not quite as surprised as AD is at this news.
With that, we're going to do a group roll for the first time. Yeah.
Oh.
So the difficulty for this is going to be 5. It's a perception awareness roll. If you don't have awareness, you can roll perception. The difficulty lowers by 1 for every dot of auspex you have.
3 successes, one of which is a 10. I don't know if that counts for
Noted.
an extra. Okay.
1 success.
2 success here.
2 successes.
I got 1 success, and 2 of those were 1s. Ooh.
Good thing for the 1
Indeed.
success.
So we have 80 with 3, Theo and Sophia with 2, Clovis with 1, right? We'll start from the perspective of Clovis. As you have fought in a helm before, you know what it's like to have your head run by a blunt weapon. The way it rings and rings and rings. You feel that and you internalize that, you make sense of it. And then you look around the room at the others. Sophia and Theodorus, the two of you feel completely staggered. It's up to you whether you fall over or not. You have the choice to stabilize yourself. Every sense of wrong, every sense of shifting and changing comes upon you quickly. Something big just shifted. And furthermore, that ringing that Clovis felt in his armor, you hear that buzzing in your ears. To make it a modern equivalent, like a flashbang just went off. For 80 and Olivia and Callius, all three fall to the ground, completely and utterly out of it. Where we left off, 80, Callius, Olivia, all basically land very hard on the ground. Theodore and Sophia stagger. Theodorus and Sophia probably stagger like, like an old Star Trek set or whatever when they get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Theodorus holds onto his staff with both hands like he's on a rocking boat in a storm.
Sophia claps her hands over her ears and does the stagger. But when she regains her footing and takes appraisal of her surroundings, notices the kindred decorating the floor. She makes a beeline for Callius. Is checking vitals, trying to see what might have happened, if he's all right.
You see Callius specifically starts to rouse too. As you approach and you get close enough, you see his fangs are distended. Callius's fangs are distended. His hands are wrapped around his head, and you see him sort of shaking. And it's reminiscent to his malady, the same one you've seen for the last year now. But this is extreme.
She quickly kind of makes an assessment of the situation, and her brain swirls trying to put these puzzle pieces together of what's going on, how she might help. And knowing that this is at least in some way similar to his, we'll call them episodes, she very, very gently, as his hands are above his head, rests her palms against the crook of his elbow on the outside, whispers something reassuring, sweet, and very quickly, no niceties made to keep to the masquerade, darts over to 80 and attempts to rouse her.
80 within a few seconds of Sophia trying to rouse you, you are, in fact, kind of brought to.
What's that? What's what?
I don't know, but Callius needs you to sing. She kind of pulls her up.
Yeah.
and is guiding her while she's explaining up and over. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that she can pick 80 up
Yeah.
and is guiding, ushering, nodding, smiling,
He's
pulling
like
her over to
still
Callius.
kind of dazed as she just had this happen to her as
Yeah,
well. But she's like
totally.
reorienting herself, like, all right, I have to sing. But she'll kind of just, as soon as she's able to ground herself, she will quietly start to sing.
Okay. I'm going to check in with Clovis and Theodorus at this strange set of circumstances. Clovis being the most aware, as he only took the minor head ring. Theodorus, you staggered as hard as Sophia did, so you're back in with it. But the ringing, it's worth noting for all of you, the ringing is still there, dimming slowly.
What was that?
Clovis is scanning the room, moving quickly, shifting his faceplate around.
I think Theodorus has grabbed the cross around his neck and has muttered a quick prayer, something like, Lord above, protect thy servant, as he takes a staggered step or two towards Sister Olivia, or just Olivia. He kind of still sees her as perhaps of the cloth in some way. He convinces himself, and he's going to make sure she is attended to if the others are being attended to.
Unlike the others, she does not rouse. You get the sense that she might be in, well, you don't know what that is, never mind, as Theodorus.
Half the people here don't know what that is.
Yeah.
She's dead.
Yeah. If it wasn't clear before that she looked pretty gaunt and pale, when you see her like this, she almost looks like a corpse.
Funnily enough, Theodorus would go back instinctually to his training as a healer and would check for various vitals, for pulse, and then sort of catch himself, realizing that we are all of the dead and the damned, and it's no use.
As Adi begins to sing to Callias, he doesn't quite restore. He continues to shake and rock and cry. And you've never seen him like this. Like, he's had bouts of almost like a headache, perhaps, a migraine. Never like this. 80, you're not experiencing anything like that. You do feel like you were just knocked unconscious or like concussed and then pulled back to reality real quick.
Yeah.
So you're suffering with that.
Dazed.
Yes, very much so.
Sophia looks distraught. A lot of the very prim, proper pretenses are now dispensed with. She is on her knees, hovering in his vicinity, hands almost touching him, but not quite. And just looks like there is this very clear emergency going on in front of her, and she does not know what to do.
This would approach.
What is wrong with him?
I don't know. He has headaches sometimes, but not like this.
I think 80 is just continuing to sing, like, as she was told to. She's not stopping unless she's told to stop, probably. But
And
she
we
is,
will-
like, glancing anxiously at Sophia, I think.
Yeah, I think they're sharing those anxious glances. Like, it doesn't look like Sophia is laying any blame on her shoulders. It's not an accusatory glance. She doesn't seem impatient. It's more lost and confused, as if this is supposed to be working. Why isn't it working?
The ringing begins to... The hairs on the back of your necks and your arms begins to return to normal. But I think all of you are left with a feeling that something significant has just changed.
I can't bring Sister Olivia too. There's nothing here.
That
Theodorus
Clovis would. Okay.
Theodorus is holding the corpse-like hand in his own. He looks lost as to what to do.
Clovis would make his way over, looking down at the body on the ground.
She has been rendered torpid. This is not good.
Torpid. Theodorus looks up to the paladin.
Sleep of the damned, of the dead. She cannot be roused easily. It will take blood or time. I cannot say which.
Sophia looks down at Callias, and if he allows it, she's kind of like cradling and supporting his upper body in whatever way seems most comfortable and easy for him. Might we utilize the soldiers like we were for her? Would that not help?
Callias rocks sort of within Sophia's arms. He doesn't seem to respond to anything. He seems almost lost.
She looks up at Clovis then, since he seems to know the most out of their little gathering. There's a contingent of soldiers that will occasionally come to the villa and be of service in that way. Perhaps She looks at Callias again before her little eyes return to the suit of armor. I don't know how they make contact or to whom Callias speaks to, but I know that there is an arrangement.
I imagine they are the guards of Olivia. But I know not who they are, nor who knows what. We cannot risk a breach of the silence. Your sire, he has a haven that is secure.
Yes, I can take all of us there.
I think that would be best till we can figure out what is going on.
We take Olivia with us.
I do not know where she rests, thus I do not know where she would be most safe. I will carry her. With that, he just walks over and effortlessly picks her up like she weighs nothing.
Theodorus will stand with the picking up of the body, and he's still holding on to the cross. Does Olivia have family? Anyone else here that we can contact?
I don't think so.
I could
Is
see.
that common?
I could see what the other rats know. But I did not know if she had a child or ghoul. She liked her secrets, and I did my best not to pry.
Sophia does her best to help Callias to his feet. Slings one of his arms around her shoulders and kind of fits herself underneath on one side, has an arm bracing around his opposite side of his waist.
And 80 would help her kind of get him upright. I think for a moment, though, her touch kind of lingers on the ground where he was laying and takes a moment to she kind of just feels it, closes her eyes with her hands and lets this energy sort of wash over her. And going to use another power that requires me to make a perception empathy roll with a difficulty determined by the storyteller in order to get mental and psychic impressions off of a place or object, in this case, place, because this is like, this thing just happened here.
Okay. So this is on the villa you're in the Elysium right now, that your focus is?
Yes, specifically on, this shift in the air that just happened.
Yep.
Like, you can feel that in the air around them, and she's just focused in on that. And kind of using, in some ways, because Callias was affected by it in the most obvious way, using him and where he was as like a conduit for that.
Okay. We will go with a difficulty 6. We'll make it standard.
Okay.
These things are often harder, so 6 means it's easier, actually.
3 successes.
Lacking the knowledge to describe what you feel.
Mhm.
It feels like as you reach out to sense the reality around you, it feels like the reality around you has compressed. You mentioned the air shifting. It's almost as if the air has tightened. Probably goes without saying that you've never felt anything like that. With that, we cut to a flashback. We see 80, her lifeless body on a familiar villa. Before her stands Sophia. Not Callias. Sophia, after your beasts are cold, you're left with a sense of distinction. You realize that, first off, your sire's blood dell has just been drained dry. And second, there was something different about the way it tasted. The vitae. Something luring, something encouraging beyond the beast. Tasted good. After Callias and your interaction that followed, we see you for a moment by yourself, calming your nerves from everything that just happened. You begin to look out the window, and you realize in this flashback, perhaps, why Sophia feared the reference to ghosts prior. Because in this moment, as you look out towards the marsh, towards the north wall, you see several of them. These haunted, semi-transparent visages. We cut back to the present.
80 will get up and kind of just like trying to support herself because she's still a bit shaken as well, but to try to help Sophia in helping Callias.
I think Theodorus, if we are moving at this point, Theodorus will walk ahead and open whichever doors we need to open, seeing as the others have their hands full.
I will take an alertness roll, difficulty 7. Everyone's pretty busy, but we'll assume you got your, eyes out looking for things.
Difficulty 7, right? No successes.
I got 1.
1.
I think, Rhea, are you rolling as well?
Yeah, awareness and...
Alertness.
Alertness. Perception.
Oh, sorry. Alertness and perception. Sorry, I missed that. The difficulty was 7, you said? 1 success.
Okay. I think it's pretty easy for all of you to just kind of sense, like, it's unfortunately a night where the moon's not high in the sky and it doesn't shed a ton of light, so it's darker than normal. As you're moving just out of the villa, you see a familiar soldier approach. This is the one that sent the message for Elysium. How is Olivia being held right now?
Uh-oh.
He's been all in his hands, like probably closest to be like a bridal carry. But he would have like taken a cloth to just put over her face to kind of disguise the fact that she looks like she's dead.
He looks concerned. He says, "Where are you taking her?"
To the villa. She's not well. You're welcome to come with us if this is of any concern. We just want to make sure that she's safe, and she is literally like hefting Callias on one side.
I think with that,
I don't
Clovis
know
would
what's happened.
interrupt and say, "Are you a one who has formed a covenant with Sister Olivia?"
He considers all the things that could mean and then goes, "Yes." He leans in a bit and he's like, "What happened to him?" He looks confused. Like, to him, there's nothing weird. You can tell whatever this guy's doing, he doesn't seem put off by anything. He's just blissfully aware. Makes you wonder if you were a little less attuned, perhaps it would have glossed right over you, right? So
Theodorus will take a step forward and say, "My son, we need to get to safety first. Something dreadful has happened to both of them, really to all of us. But we can't speak of it here."
right. And with that, what he'll do is he'll replace either 80 or Sophia, whoever is willing to let him help Callias, he'll do that.
Sophia's pretty attached.
I was about to say probably, yeah, if anything, 80 would probably just go over to Sophia's side and help her a little bit more while letting the soldier take the sides she was on.
I think
She does come.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
keep going.
Go ahead.
When she does come around to Sophia, Sophia is like a parent trying to organize a bunch of children on a field trip right now. So she's got Callias, and she's trying to make sure that the guard situation's taken care of, and is like giving like a grateful nod to Theodorus, like, yes, absolutely, the secrecy thing. And when 80 comes around, can you lead them towards the villa? And she's like thinking out loud, like, we'll need to have this prepared, and starts going into like
Hostess mode?
Yeah, exactly, in like serving woman mode, and is like frantic positive, but also kind of negative.
Yeah, of course, make sure everything is in order when we arrive.
Thank you.
Of course.
I think the guard too, I think he went to Sophia first, and it's like,
Sophia
she's
just
not
turns around
moving.
and looks at him.
Yeah, like,
She's just got Callias, and she's like,
right. Yeah, I'll fold to the other side then, seeing as it's like, she's not moving. So he says, I'm Marcos.
it's nice to meet you, but perhaps we should be... She kind of, arms occupied, kind of nods down the way towards the villa.
With that, 80 has precious moments to address anything. Is there anything you do? Because you were heading ahead, right? To do the quick tidy, as it were.
Yeah.
Is that what I interpreted? Okay.
More or less, running home, trying to get everything in order. Not that, I think between her and Sophia, things are probably mostly in order anyway.
Yeah.
But she would make sure everything was nice for guests and
a place to put down our very
Clear.
sleepy domain holder.
Yeah, clear space.
Perhaps it's just bad luck, or perhaps it's the night. But I think 80 is you go to kind of clean, do a quick tidy, and you're doing a quick look around naturally the villa. You notice a fresh letter beside Callias's ink and quill.
She'll lean over. She can't resist the curiosity. And besides, she plays the game, but she's not stupid. She knows that every bit of information is precious.
Okay. Can 80 read? I didn't think of that.
Great question. I would guess, I want to say yes on a basic level. Probably not super well. So there might be some things that would elude her.
Let's say this. In the matter of a quick skim, which is difficult to do when you don't read super well, you see your name. You see it's signed in Callias's name. You see another name, Isakios. It looks like that's who it's addressed to. But you don't know what the content is. You're not able to read the content quick enough. And you know that the party's just on your heels.
I think she thinks for a moment, and then she's going to, in a split second, while she's thinking, do I take it? Do I not? The cut might be risky. And what she's going to do instead is she's going to touch it. And I'm going to do another roll for impressions.
Yep. Let's see it. Can't possibly go poorly.
What could possibly go wrong?
Wrong. Yeah. 6.
We'll go. It's my choice, right? Is what it says effectively there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say this one's a 7.
3 successes, one of which is a 10.
I'll double check the power in the future.
Yeah,
Now
I can
I'm
also
gonna riff
send you
off.
a quick thing if you would like.
We'll get there. You're left with the impression of abandonment. Given it has your name on it, you can probably put 2 and 2 together.
And the name that it's to, is that wouldn't be a name I would recognize, right?
Not at all.
Azakarios?
Like Isaac, basically. Isaacios.
Azakros, yeah. Okay. She'll commit that name to memory. And then kind of just quickly leave the room.
Well, the group arrives. He's present. Always, I mean, you keep the villa pretty tidy to begin with, but it is especially tidy.
Sophia's interacting a lot more now that this little calamity has fallen into their laps. She guides everyone into their equivalent of a parlor, some room that they would have enough space for so many guests in, and would kind of wave over for 80 to direct Clovis where he could deposit his charge.
Yep. And she would kind of lead him over the space she cleared, nicely kind of cushioned for them to lay Olivia.
Clovis just kind of dumps the body on the ground. Not a lot of ceremony to it.
Yeah, and he will kind of like, she kind of catches her a little bit and just like lays her down a little more nicely.
Yeah, the ghoul doesn't look impressed with that. It's like, hey.
Yeah, and Sophia looks shocked.
He watches the living arbor seems to turn around and go, "What? She will not know."
You could still have a little bit of respect.
He does not respond.
Sophia kind of looks at 80 a moment like that, oh my god. And looks back. Who was she having this conversation with? Whoever she'd talked to, I think it was Clovis, about the matter of procuring blood. She literally just extends a finger towards Sigard and then like looks at where Olivia's body is laying. Should we at least try?
It is not exactly standard. But perhaps. He turns to look at the ghoul. When
What,
was the last time you entered into you affirmed your covenant with the sister?
I see. Funny enough, I think in this reference, it makes sense to him. And he nods and he says, she offers me the chalice every few days. The last time was 2 days ago.
And you know where it comes, correct?
You mean what it is before, what it becomes the blood of Christ?
Yes.
Theodorus approves. Yes.
Theodorus, he does not.
I need to borrow your arm for a moment. See if we can rouse the sister.
Of course. If I can be of help.
He steps over.
I think because it's Clovis, like, he's struggling with trusting this. Yeah.
Clovis just takes his arm and, like, drags him over. Just
had
enough of this.
Yeah, feeling Clovis's strength, he's, he doesn't resist. He knows that you're all whatever she is. He knows that much. So
he would take out what is a small hunting knife and would drag it surprisingly delicately across his palm and allow the blood to spill out into the mouth of Sister Olivia.
You see her complexion change a bit. I noted she was gaunt and pale, but she almost looked skeletal by the time you got her here, Her visage kind of shifts back a bit towards that direction, but she does not rouse. He says, did it work?
Release the man's hand, would turn to Leos and goes, tend to his wound.
Theodorus would. Theodorus is quite experienced with wounds. He would, pulling out of one of his satchels, he would pull out cloth and padding to stop the bleeding. And Theodorus has been a bit distant, though, as we've been in this room. He's been watching with care, but it's clearly his mind is somewhere else.
How alert is Callius at the moment?
He's no longer whimpering. He's no longer rocking. But he's still very out of it. He doesn't seem to quite be fully aware of like where he is or who's around him. And he doesn't have his composure, which is always very rare, let's say, that he doesn't maintain his composure well. But you feel like you could potentially reach him.
She's still got him gathered up. And she's probably, if they have something that's comfortable to sit on, probably has him perched there and she's with him as discreetly as she can, turning her face as far away from the group as possible so not even her lips can be read. She whispers into his ear if their blood could be of any help, or if that was not an option.
He kind of looks up, probably for the first time, noticing Olivia. It could, maybe. It could.
Do you want me to?
I think he looks over to Clovis, having managed to figure out in the short amount of time he met Theodorus that Theodorus, too, is a fledgling. He looks to Clovis and says, "Will you resist her doing so?"
Looks over. Looks between the two of them. It is in the sister's best interest that the blood of our kind, that your blood does not touch her lips.
And he says that pointedly at
Callius?
Callius. With very much of a, I know things and I don't trust you.
He looks to Sophia and just shakes his head.
I don't understand. Is it not of the right kind?
Do you know of anything else that might help her?
Callius will look, and the reason why I didn't answer that, I was curious if Clovis was going to answer that, so I was going to answer
He was looking at... It was a question for the room. It wasn't specifically for...
Clovis probably would answer, and his answer would simply be time.
With that, Callius will kind of relent. Time will restore her. He looks up, kind of out of it. And I think the ghoul's like flipping out at this point because Olivia's not restored. So he's like, Marcos is like, what can we do to help her? Can I do anything?
Do you know
Does she
where
have-
she stays?
Yes. Beneath the chapel in the crypts.
Sophia like blinks.
Yeah.
Perhaps it would be best to keep her here for now, where we can keep a close eye on her. It may just be a matter of time and her resting. Marcos.
Okay. What happened to her?
We need Theodore speaks up. He's holding something in his offhand, but it's clasped in the hand. We need to learn if there are any who would do us ill will here. This, I'm assuming, isn't a usual event. Is it, Marcos?
Well, no. No. As far as those who would do ill will, she has this place pretty well under wraps, under guard, under eye.
I think it is something bigger than that.
What do you mean?
Didn't you all feel it shift in the air, like a vice tightening around us? Whatever forces it is that run through this place, through all of us, something is shifted. Somehow.
The balance?
Yes, I'm not sure how else to explain it. If you were to wake and know that it was day, and yet it was night, When you looked outside, you would know that something was wrong. It is like that.
Is it some kind of... a good versus evil, or just the natural world is not natural anymore?
I don't know beyond that. I don't think anything about any of us is natural.
Definitely not. And Theodorus will sign the cross on his chest.
Callias, do you have an idea as to what could be the cause of this?
No, but when we spoke, her and I, she said that she's been here a long time, that the shroud was thin here, that it was hers to keep. I've heard this reference before amongst her clan, shroud. I don't really know what it means, though.
Some sort of veil.
Kelly's
to
nods.
what?
He begins to sort of moan in pain again. And for a second, you're like, is this maybe a Malkavian? It's to that level of malady. Yeah.
He will quickly go to kind of sit beside him and quietly start singing again. This seems more like the normal sort of malady that he's been afflicted with.
I think with that, Clovis would turn to Sophia and almost kind of gesturing for her to step away from her sire for a moment, if she chooses to follow.
It takes her like 3 seconds. And then she will unwind her arm from around his back, whatever she was supporting. And she'll stand and look back and kind of check on him. And then she takes 2 steps towards Clovis. There is a healthy space maintained.
He'll take it. He turns around.
You said your sire suffered from a malady.
Yes, I don't know how common it is if many of our kind suffer similarly, or whether this is a unique condition.
How often does he have these episodes?
She provides the answer. The player's not sure, but she would know.
Roger that. So I'll just clarify, and anything you want to jump in with, Emma, just jump in with. But effectively, it happened prior, but it became a regular issue when reaching Develtus.
And she will describe the way in which they literally make use of 80 because the singing oftentimes helps assuage his symptoms.
Did he have these symptoms in Constantinople?
On rare occasion, but not nearly as often as he does now.
Interesting. Why?
She gives you this poor, pathetic creature look and literally like shrugs her shoulders. This poor woman looks so out of her depth.
He kind of turns, realizing that he kind of poses as a question to her, but he wasn't intending to. And then he kind of shakes his head and goes,
Right. We must figure out what is going on. Which might mean leveling.
She kind of cants her head to the side in a very much unspoken, what do you mean by that?
What do you know of your sire and his loyalties?
With that, he turns, realizing they're not that far away from him.
And
I think
would you
pull
prefer
aside
having
enough
this
to have the
conversation?
Okay.
right?
She wouldn't
All
have
right, that
followed
works.
him out of the room or something. She just
Okay.
would have maintained that healthy distance.
She's
All
in
right,
the
that
doorway.
works.
She's in the threshole
Yeah.
between the two. Yeah. And
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
exactly with
She
it
would have
right
followed him
now.
out. Yeah. So her little brow bunches together. That seems like a question she has not considered. I'm not sure what you mean. It's just the two of us and 80.
Then you do not know of a man known by Antonius, and perhaps it is unrelated.
We've not really met many others besides this group. If this individual is one of us.
I know of very few individuals who can create such maladies in the minds of others. 2 of them are in Constantinople. The rest could be many in number. The point is this a malady that has existed for the whole time you have known your sire?
She nods.
I see. Does
You
your
think
sire have
someone
any...
did this?
It is possible. It is not uncommon for our kind to squabble. Your sire is a powerful man with powerful allies and powerful enemies.
This poor woman, she keeps nodding at you because it's a polite way to carry on the conversation, but there is this a fixed expression of mild shock, mostly. All of this seems very much new information to her in a way that might be a little disconcerting.
Oh, yeah, very much so. It's kind of hard for him to show up because his face is covered, but he is definitely more antsy as he's kind of moving around. Very much in the way of, this was not the mastermind I was expecting to witness. This complicates things.
Right. So you are truly new.
What is she, maybe a few months, half a year?
Half a year.
Less than a year. She gives you the date, and it is approximately 6 months ago. Just not that long.
Right. And I assume your broodmate was not sired long after you.
You guys do a very slight dart to the side as she seems to maybe calculate this information. A month, maybe?
There's something about this place. That must be the answer.
And this has to do with the shroud?
I don't know.
He kind of shakes himself. The creaking of armor and the strange waft of horrible smell.
She does kind of flinch just a bit whenever you make any loud sound or action, like a little fawn that you've stuck in a corner that's still a little jumpy.
There are too many variables, too many unknown.
But if we wake Olivia, she might know more?
We cannot guarantee on her waking. It may take nights, it may take weeks. There are tales of some elders sleeping for millennia.
But
there is no way to know for sure.
if my blood isn't suitable, is someone else's, perhaps?
It would
wouldn't that help?
require potent blood, one closer to the first Cainite.
She gives you that big doe-eyed blink again.
At that point, he goes,
It requires one who is supremely ancient.
How old would that be?
He shrugs, creaking of metal. Do
She
you
does
know
the
how
little-
old your sire is?
Oh, would she know? Does she know how old? She's probably alluded at some point to at least a ballpark range.
Yeah, you're pretty good with the social stuff. I think you picked up that just from various sayings and references. You know, references that when someone references like 4 decades ago, it's like, wow, that's so long ago. Imagine if someone referenced like just name drop something from, 2 centuries ago. He's probably at least a century and a half to longer, but you're not clear on just how truly ancient he is. Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to make that complicated. It's just the reality.
No, you're totally
Yeah.
fine. She hesitates a moment. She starts kind of nervously picking at the ends of her fingernails, hands held close to her chest, like she's deliberating whether or not to even speak on it. I think he might be the oldest here, maybe?
Then unfortunately it might be worth a try.
She stiffens. And the picking stops. Hands are still held close to her chest, She kind of gives you a small nod.
All right. We can return to the others. And
Just keep going, keep going.
I'd have one recommendation for you. Do not mention the name Antonius to your sire.
I don't think she nods.
He shrugs. It was a recommendation, not an order. I am not your sire.
She does kind of bob her head, and he doesn't intend to say more. Will scurry back
No.
to Callius.
We'll say that while that conversation was happening, he sort of starts to quell again. Where Sophia and Clovis stepped to, it was like further in the villa. So Marcos, the ghoul, will look to Theodorus and say, I don't know if I should be offering this, but I know where she does her writing. I could collect some, and if it would help her, I could bring it to everyone.
Theodorus's mind's still distracted. He will nod, looking at the ground. I think that's a good idea, Marcos. I also think that as we are protectors of Olivia now, we need to see to their safety. Do you have any others you can trust? Any other guards? I'm assuming there are more.
Not like me, but yes. There are those that are fed on. Or he wouldn't say that. He doesn't know that. Hold on, let me back that up. That visit her. And you can just imagine, for a guy who doesn't know what feeding is, what kind of goes through his mind is possibilities about what those visits are exactly.
Theodorus nods once again. I see. It will be still important, I suppose, to keep Olivia fed. I am not sure how long this will take, but we must try everything. She is the oldest, well, that I know of. And there is much she can do if she was just awake. I'm sure she would know what is going on. If you could show us to where she was doing her duties, this veil or shroud, or perhaps I can make sense of it, perhaps we can make sense of it. And if it has afflicted her with this damage, we may find a cure if God is willing.
I'll retrieve the writings, and then I'll show you where she does wander. It is beyond the gates. Into the marshes.
The marshes, I see. Very well. Now, if any more of our kind, and Theodorus will take a step forward and kind of put a firm but comforting hand on Marcus's shoulder, give him a serious look. If any more of our kind arrive in Develtus, we need to know immediately.
Understood. Do watch after her. I don't trust the armored fellow.
We all have our parts to play on this path. We'll try to keep everyone safe while we're on it.
With that, I think he nods to you, and then he's going to dart off to go find these writings that he referred to. While he does, you kind of have an opportunity to glance out the window briefly. I want you to make a wits or perception and survival roll.
Wits and perception are the same. He does have 2 dots in survival. Okay.
That's good.
What's difficulty?
Difficulty will be, we're going to go with 6.
And is this affected by aspects?
Okay.
Okay. Oh my. 5 successes, 1 being a 10.
Okay.
But I don't have any specialties or anything, so just 5.
You look out, at the darkness, and you know for sure that it's probably, by the standard sort of normal night, as it were. It looks like it's probably around midnight. Again, reference to it probably being during the moon phase where you're not seeing a lot of moonlight. But your bestial instincts tell you otherwise. You know that it's likely closer to dawn.
I think this takes Theodorus by surprise. He, being a traveler on the road, he knows very distinctly the feelings of the sun rising and how dangerous it can be. And it hasn't hit him. He quickly paces over to the window and looks at the horizon. His face screws up. He shakes his head. The only people in the room right now are, the only conscious one is 80, right?
80 and then kind of Callius, but he's sort of zones out unless referred, unless like prompted right now with where he's at.
I think he'll turn halfway and 80, I believe the night is over. But it's not going.
Assuming Callius by this point has kind of settled down, she'll kind of gently let him rest and will get up and go over to the window and look out to see what the father is pointing to.
Kind of definitely looks like it's, as kind of a reference for Zack there, it's definitely doesn't look like it's near dawn.
There is it. It is it that is the shift in the air, the shroud. Perhaps, Father, I am. This is not the second time that you have appeared in my life. In a time of need. And I cannot help but feel that this is not a coincidence, that our paths will cross for a reason again.
It does seem that our path is crossing at dreadful times, but for what reason? God shows me the path, but this is full of shrouded darkness.
Perhaps God is powerful, but perhaps there are other things that are powerful as well. And this is something that you can see as she says it, you can kind of sense that this isn't the first time she's thought that, but it is something that she is wary of speaking.
Wary as if because he's a priest, or is it just saying it out loud? I guess
in general, saying it out loud, I think she's making a calculated decision to say it to him because there is a level of trust.
Yeah, I think Theodorus, his face kind of falls. From what he's seen now in this new unlife, it's very true. He knew there were, the devil's works in this world, but nothing like this. And he's seen horrors beyond his imagining. I think it is all a test, of course, but it is like the conversation we had before, long ago, in that camp. Everything has happened, and it's set in stone. And we just need to meet the new day.
I think about that often. It gave me a lot of hope at the time. And I think it still does. There is no reason why that should end. Whether our days are greeted with sunlight or moonlight.
I don't quite fear the sun or more night, but I do fear those other powers. I've unfortunately had them cross my path. And he will slowly unfurl what he's been holding in one of his hands. And in his hand, he's holding it in his hand that has all his fingers, his left hand, but in his palm is a finger. And it looks to match his other fingers. The only problem is it's not attached to his hand.
This will kind of widen a little bit as she sees that, and then kind of glances over to his other hand that is missing one. Can it be repaired? That is not among the things that you have had the time to teach me, I'm afraid. But if there is a way I can help to mend it, I will gladly do so.
Theodore shakes his head. There's a small smirk under the beard. I can fix this, and that is just the problem.
It is a problem with being able to fix something.
My abilities to fix this is exactly what I'm afraid of. The creature who made me into what I am now, it is still here. It is within me, and the more every night it gets closer to the surface. And now this finger, something that it took from me on that night, has just appeared here in Olivia's care, given to me as, I'm not sure, a message, a gift? No, it cannot be a gift. Taunting.
I believe they call it the embrace. They did this to you as a malicious sort of act. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, malicious is a light way to put what happened that night. But this gift is, I believe, to rile me, to test my patience.
I'm going to say at that point that Sophia and presumably Clovis return.
She'll just say kind of quickly as they enter the room. You have been patient, regardless, so perhaps you have passed the test, and I do not know what you know of the faith, and I do not know what you know of the art of healing, but I do know that fixing something and being able to fix something is a gift from whoever may be granting it to you, and perhaps if you can fix things now that you could not before, then perhaps that is your path.
I have used it for good, as any of our new abilities should, but I can feel it roiling down in the depths. Every time I do, it gets closer.
She'll kind of give some sort of look of just a nod of understanding, and as Sophia re-enters the room, though, she'll kind of nod to the father and go over to Lady Sophia and just, I think he might be sleeping now, or perhaps seems to be a bit more calm.
Yeah, as soon as Sophia gets back into the room, just a quick visual check, sits back down with Callius, who is, I'm assuming, chill now.
Very
For
quelled.
the most
yes.
part. And so if Adie sits with her, she kind of pats her very gently on the knee. Thank you. Kind of does another glance around, trying to figure out where they're gonna put people, because I'm sure she kind of feels
I was just about to say, no role required for everybody now. Everyone's beginning to feel the pull towards the day rest.
Would they have enough suitable locations for everyone for the day?
Probably not. Not beds, realistically.
Yeah.
But nothing super dangerous. It would just be inconvenient. But you've heard that the haunts love that, so.
Yeah, apparently that sometimes you can sleep in a crypt and that's totally okay. So she's learning a lot of new things today. She does see if she can garner Callith's attention for just a moment. Is it all right if people stay here?
Yes, it's fine.
His knee gets a little, rubby on the patella. And I assume Adie has her own quarters, so she's chilling. So Sophia just kind of... Oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh, Adie would actually offer if Sophia were to, if the announcement that everyone's staying, she would offer her quarters to Father Theodorus and would probably say something along the lines of, I've slept on less comfortable floors.
I think for the first time, Theodorus chuckles. I think I have you beat on sleeping in random places. I will enjoy the floor, truly.
Whatever everyone thinks is most safe, please
I will
find quarters that suit you.
I will find a place under the villa where I will not be disturbed.
Do they have a cellar?
I doubt a full cellar. I don't think they did that this time, but there might be some
Yeah,
Is
kind
I
there
have
like
no
some
idea.
floorboard somewhere he can crawl under?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, is if there
Yeah.
is an actual somewhere to go, or if he says this and
Is
she's
there any
like,
bit that would be raised?
You know what? Let's throw a curveball in. You are what you are. You are a Nosferatu. You're very good at finding the low ground. You're very good at finding hidden things. And so a quick glance, you find what looks like kind of a faux piece of the floor that folds upward and a ladder down to the unknown below.
As well.
And without hesitation,
Before he goes down, he would turn and he would say,
Till next we speak.
I think
Down the stairs.
before the night
clank,
goes
clank,
down,
clank.
Theodorus would, seeing as the paladin is the most elder at this point, Theodorus would hold a hand up and say, before you go, good paladin, take your eyes to the sky for a moment. What do you see?
He looks outside.
darkness, the night sky.
It is dark.
And we are tired.
It is something we can think of the next night. For now, the day sleep calls.
Begins to make his way down the stairs, clanking along before he freezes.
Clovis. My name is Clovis.
A question for AD.
Mhm.
Do you still have your lie detector sense going?
I think with him, she'll turn it on with him saying something like that, considering earlier he was being cagey about it.
It is a lie. And then he continues to clink his way down the steps for pulling the shutter
Okay.
closed.
And I think also before they go to sleep, she would want to pull Sophia aside for just a moment, would just catch her and
We'll make this just because the sun's coming up, so we'll make this the very last scene.
yes. Still has her thing on. And she's going to say, Lady Sophia, if you were to send me away somewhere, what do you tell me?
on your roll for her. I feel like surprise flickers across her features like candlelight. And she allows her brows to remain raised. Send you away? Of course, it's the truth. Her impression of the situation is that she's not being sent away as much as, to put it politely, rehomed. And at least in her justification, whether that's to assuage her own conscience, whether that is a very kind interpretation of Callias's intent. She does not believe that it is abandonment or giving away. In her mind, this is to be a very consensual adoption.
We'll say that, the cope there required, I think, does not register as a lie.
Okay.
It is certainly copium. Whether that is literally a protection mechanism for her own consciousness, or whether she truly believes that what Callius was conveying to her is actually this action.
Mhm.
He might have phrased it one way, but this is real. This is what they're doing.
This is what he meant because
this is
really
what
a
she
good person.
intends.
Yeah. Okay. So she'll kind of scan her face and just nod. I would not want to be a part of from you in this world. That is all. And she'll, with that, kind of duck away.
If 80 watches the reaction on Sophia's face, there is another small glimmer of surprise, but not of the same sort. But it's probably only that much before she turns away.
And with that, our Canaanites fall to the sleep of the day, despite what is happening outside. It is August 16th, in the year of our Lord 797. Constantine VI has been deposed by his mother, Irene. And what will follow is Days of Darkness.
No brows? I could adjust my brows in Mass Effect. Are you telling me I can't do it here? Stop jump scaring me! Thorn whip? Oh, that looks cool, but I don't want the creature to come up into my business. I don't like people being up in my business.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
My heart.
If you had to tailor a charm person to people, that would be mine. In perfectly drow fashion, he was in a combat situation against her, and she said, "Don't kill that one. That one's mine." Look at this boy! This one's mine.
That's my air horn. Okay. Holy smokes. Thank you again, everyone. And as always, we hope that you live your best selves in your mortal roles. We will see you next time. Ciao. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Wow, you guys. Wow.
Oh my god.